What's up guys, hope everyone is doing well. In this video, I'm going to be going over some analysis on the fundamental side, and then I'm later on get into the technical aspect of it, but for XYO. Now, I'm sure many of you are already aware. If you're not, I would urge you to stick around for the first part of this video. It might get boring because I'm going to be reading a lot, but XYO, within the last 24 hours, finally made its big announcement, the quote-unquote think bigger announcement, and in all honesty, I don't know if it could have gotten any better than the announcement itself, being the fact that XYO is now, whenever they finally launch the actual Layer 1 in February, now going to be a fully fledged blockchain that, as I will get into it later on, will be competing and is actually even being claimed to have better statistics in certain areas in comparison to Solana, Ethereum, others, and even things that those don't even have implemented at our current time. And also as well, if you've already read all of this, or if you just simply don't want to listen to me reading this because it might be boring for you, feel free to use the timestamps and to skip to the analysis if that is also just what you're primarily interested in. But nonetheless, let's get into it. Here it says infinite, versatile, fast, built for data. Data is the backbone of modern systems, and XYO Layer 1 is designed to handle it with precision, with features like completely customizable sovereign chains, native proof of location protocols, and built-in privacy. It is a standout for Web3 and Web2 industries needing data-focused blockchain solutions. Data-driven scalability for modern industries. The XYO Layer 1 blockchain offers a purpose-built solution for data-heavy industries like artificial intelligence and decentralized physical infrastructure networks, featuring unique architecture that supports simultaneous operation of blockchains with a unified shared ledger. It enables seamless data handling while maintaining precision and scalability, ensuring it meets the demands of diverse applications. With features like proof of location, rollups, and customizable sovereignty, XYO Layer 1 supports industries such as healthcare, finance, logistics, and telecommunications. Its scalable, privacy-focused infrastructure is ideal for Web 2 and Web 3 integration, offering robust solutions for applications where accuracy and flexibility are critical. Build XYO network and earn rewards, store data, use data, sell data, buy data, all with seamless tracing of data ownership, fair rewards for creators, validators, and stakers, and XYO's proof of location along the way. And it all starts with you. Here's a big thing, something I'm going to be interested in. XYO token staking. For the first time ever, stake your XYO tokens with validators in the network, run your own nodes, or stake someone else's. Earn rewards, help build your DPIN, and make your mark as a validator in the network. Faster, cheaper, built for data. XYO Layer 1 is the first of its kind, very important. A blockchain structured and built specifically to handle large amounts of data. This means more data storage than IPFS, faster data retrieval than Solana, also very big, and much cheaper transaction costs compared to Ethereum, which is also, again, very big. And for when it comes to them mentioning IPFS, some of you may not be aware of what that is, and they didn't really elaborate on what it is, but IPFS, aka Interplanetary File System, is a decentralized and distributed file storage system that aims to enhance the efficiency and resilience of traditional web protocols by focusing on creating a global, decentralized network for storing and sharing files. It is a peer-to-peer distributed system for storing, accessing, and sharing files, websites, applications, and data. IPFS and blockchain serve different purposes. IPFS focuses on creating a global, decentralized network for storing and sharing files, while blockchain serves primarily as a decentralized ledger. Now, obviously, XYO being related to much of that, generally, just to really simplify it, just the whole idea of data, and obviously that can be applied in nearly essentially every single sector of life. Obviously, as they've mentioned, telecommunications, logistics, I mean, the healthcare medical system, data prioritization, data sovereignty is a very big emphasis of this project, as it should be, with the whole, the general ethos of blockchain in general, giving power back to the citizen, giving power back to the people in realms outside of just the financial, economic sector, which would be mainly something like Bitcoin being the prime mover, the original, the OG blockchain solution, cryptographic currency, in comparison to XYO, which, as I said, as I get through this, there's 3 pages that are on here that I'm going to be talking about, and one of those does deal with a very straightforward comparison between XYO, Bitcoin, and other blockchains. But to continue on here, sovereign data economy. XYO Layer 1 blockchain is the reliable data layer the world needs, from social media accounts to AI conversations and enormous DeepIn projects. Everything we use today relies on data. Again, data, just massive, massive. I mean, that should be common sense at this point. Data is very, very important. XYO Layer 1 provides a secure, infinitely large, something to highlight there. Whether or not that's more of like a jargony term or that quite literally means infinitely large, obviously we'll have to come to find that out. Wouldn't necessarily doubt that, but an interesting phrase nonetheless. An empowering layer of data products and partnerships like permanent data storage. XYO Layer 1 introduces permanent data storage at scale for the world. This level of data can be used in any application. AI systems, Web3 projects, and even Fortune 500 Web2 companies are able to benefit from cryptographically secure and organized data on Layer 1 blockchain. Multi-chain interoperability, also something that I was looking forward to. This was teased in a post on X that the founder put up, RWAs, whenever he mentioned something briefly about the multi-wallet, which obviously is going to be, as he was teasing, directly related to the fact that now a fully fledged blockchain for XYO is coming onto the scene. But to go on, integrate XYO Layer 1 technology into your favorite blockchain. Layer 1 blockchain supports data from other blockchains. It can be used for any existing Web 2 or Web 3 solution to divine truth from permanent validated data. Now, some of those terms, such as divine, in terms of divining the truth, would be, again, jargony, technical-based terms that come out of the original XYO white paper when it comes to the consensus mechanisms, how the data is validated, so on and so forth. Which actually there's going to be a new white paper coming out due to the introduction of this XYO Layer 1, which will be interesting to look over whenever that finally comes out. Here we can see some key milestones and 2025 updates. As they say, more additions are going to be coming to this map soon. Here we can see Phase 1 XYO Layer 1 announcement happened within the last 24 hours on the 28th. The official unveiling of XYO Layer 1 and its revolutionary approach to data-driven blockchain technology. To come, we see XYO Layer 1 update a first look at upcoming developments and features of XYO Layer 1, XYO Layer 1 launch, the highly anticipated launch of XYO Layer 1, bringing its scalable and data-focused blockchain into production. XYO Layer 1 Update 2, new updates and announcements about what's next for XYO Layer 1. We see Phase 2, first end-to-end integration. The first full integration showcasing how XYO Layer 1 works seamlessly with decentralized and real-world systems, also having a relevance there to real-world assets as well, which I'll also delve into that as I continue here talking about more so the fundamental information and landscape of XYO itself. Here we can see, not sure what happened there. Get back down here to where I was, picking up off staking on Phase 2. We could see launch of XYO token staking, allowing users to earn rewards and contribute to building the network. Phase 3, third-party integrations, which I believe this is going to be interesting over the next coming months when obviously we see the XYO Layer 1 launch, it becomes live. And really a big part of this as well is the fact that, as I've already said, I mean, XYO is now becoming a fully fledged blockchain, standalone, independence. You'll be able to build on top of XYO, such as building on top of Ethereum or any other blockchain solution that allows it to be built on top of. Now, XYO is now becoming an actual foundation for future decentralized applications and other solutions and protocols that may be introduced as we continue to see the progression and the evolution of blockchain technology over the coming years, decades, as it becomes more and more integrated into society, as it slowly, gradually, perhaps rapidly, who knows how fastly this stuff is actually going to pick up, especially with the whole idea of the technological singularity, and so many experts and people that are credible, have been predicting it towards, the 2030 range, give or take a few years. But I mean, it also with AI, obviously, and this artificial intelligence has a lot to do with this XYO Layer 1 and this announcement and what they're going to be doing. in the time going forward from here. But all of it is nonetheless very, very exciting. Very excited myself to see what is to come in the future, how the once we see the XYO Layer 1 actually implemented, once it becomes live, and we see a lot of data here, which brings me into this. Here we see XYO Layer 1 versus other blockchains. This is what I was hinting at earlier on. Basically on the left side here, the far left side, you'll see things such as the launch date. Obviously February is going to be for XYO Layer 1. You have Solana, ICP, which is Internet Computer Protocol, Polygon, Ethereum, and Bitcoin, and it has their launch dates. And then again on the left side is going to be the kind of criteria or the aspects of said blockchain, where it goes. I mean, it says single shared ledger enables decentralized application development, allows larger data than Bitcoin, smart contracts, supports rollups, native payment rails, incremental improvements, storage and compute speed, theoretical transactions per second, actual transactions per second, max recorded transactions per second, independent from Ethereum, advanced, flexible, and scalable, built-in privacy, no historical data requirement, optional sovereign chains, native proof of location protocol, customizable sovereignty options, and data-driven scalability. There's also some little informational bubbles here if you are interested, and obviously I would urge you not. Obviously I'm going to be going over pretty much all of this here, but just go and check it out for yourself, especially because I'm not going to read out each one of these informational bubbles. It'll kind of explain just exactly what those mean to a very, very brief degree. Some of them really don't actually explain what it is anyways, but what I find very interesting is if you continue to scroll down here, obviously Bitcoin, as you can see, just basically has, hardly anything. The only thing is checked off on is independent from Ethereum. I mean, obviously it's a given. And then also a single shared ledger. Whereas you can actually see as we scroll down here, once we get past the storage and compute speed down to the max recorded transactions per second, you can see that everything now from independent from Ethereum all the way down to the data-driven scalability and everything in between. You can see the XYO is checked off on all of these. For example, such as Solana here, the second has none of these. ICP here, the third column only has 4 of these. Ethereum, rather this is, I think it's the Polygon. Polygon here has none as well. Ethereum, again, doesn't have any. When it comes to the theoretical, actual, max recorded transactions per second, these 3 here, not yet launched. Obviously, this is going to be because the actual, layer 1 of XYO has not been launched yet, as it's coming sometime next month. But whenever that finally happens, I'm going to be very curious just to see how this is actually, because they've made the claims, whether it's been stuff I've seen on X or various other sources online or even here on the website themselves, claiming, and I don't use that word to say that they're being hyperbolic or outright lying or anything like that. I wouldn't necessarily accuse them of that, but I'm going to be very interested to see as time goes on, not just next month when this data, I would assume, probably starts to come out to a very preliminary degree, but over as the months go on, years, so on and so forth, just to see if indeed the theoretical, actual, and max recorded transactions per second actually end up significantly, or just at least by any degree whatsoever, start to succeed the blockchains such as Solana, ICP, Internet Computer Protocol, Polygon, Ethereum. I mean, when it comes to these, ICP's got the best when it comes to theoretical. It also has the best when it comes to the max, and it's also the best when it comes to actual as well. So if it could at least manage to do better than ICP, obviously that's going to be a very massive win. Now, when it comes to the third and final page I want to go over, this is generally talking about, as the title says, the evolution behind XYO Layer 1. It's just basically going to go from Bitcoin into like Solana, Ethereum, and a few of those other projects which were being compared to the XYO Layer 1 on the prior page. And as it said, go through kind of the progressive evolution over the last years. But as the article or the page here says, discover the journey of blockchain development, starting with Bitcoin's simplicity through Ethereum's revolutionary decentralized applications and into modern blockchains like Solana. Finally, see how XYO Layer 1 combines the best of these innovations to deliver sovereignty, scalability, and unmatched performance. Here it's going to start out with Bitcoin, the beginning of digital currency. Bitcoin revolutionized digital money by creating a secure, decentralized ledger. Its simplicity makes it a perfect store of value and medium of exchange. Now, as I get thrown out this, you're going to see these arrows. Basically, these arrows just represent the blockchain solution itself. Here you can just see Bitcoin's very simple. As it said, simplicity makes it a storage or a perfect store of value and medium of exchange. You know, obviously on Bitcoin, there's no added extra layers. There's no decentralized applications, smart contracts, a lot of the things that Ethereum implemented early on in the history of cryptographic blockchain solutions. Obviously, Bitcoin really is just meant to be, as it says, store value, medium of exchange. Best use cases for Bitcoin remains but Bitcoin remains the go-to blockchain for those seeking a simple, decentralized cryptocurrency platform. As the first blockchain, Bitcoin enjoys widespread recognition and trust, providing an easy entry point for individuals and organizations new to blockchain. Its secure and transparent structure is ideal for straightforward cryptocurrency transactions without the need for added features like smart contracts. Pros for Bitcoin: simple and secure, reliable store of value, highly decentralized trade-offs, storage and compute bottlenecks, full historical data duplication is required. Moving down here to Ethereum, a platform for, as I mentioned, decentralized applications. Ethereum introduced smart contracts and decentralized applications, expanding blockchain's capabilities with larger data and native payment rails. Again, we see the arrow here representing Ethereum. Kind of just think about it as like a foundation. And on top of that foundation, you obviously have the decentralized applications built. It's going to be relative to the smart contracts and whatnot. Obviously, data that's more complex data than, for example, something such as, Bitcoin, which just form of the diagrams we'll see here wasn't even there for Bitcoin. But clearly, Ethereum involves itself with and interacts with a larger set of data, contextually speaking, than Bitcoin does. Whereas, like I said, it's that store of value, medium of exchange really is only kind of strictly in the lane of financial transactions, whether it's person to person, business to business, etc., so on and so forth. Best use cases for Ethereum: standing out as the leading platform for creating basic smart contracts, making it an excellent choice for developers new to blockchain programming. Its ERC20 token standard has revolutionized token creation by providing a simple, widely adopted framework. Known for its global reach, Ethereum has powered countless DeFi platforms and NFT projects, offering robust tools for creating and managing blockchain applications at a relatively accessible level. You see the pros here are enabling decentralized applications and smart contracts, larger data capabilities, native payment rails. Trade-offs would be high cost, scalability, and limitations due to full data duplication. Moving down here to modern blockchains, such as the other ones outside of Ethereum that were mentioned: Solana, Polygon, Internet Computer Protocol. These being built as Ethereum alternatives. These blockchains focus on faster throughput, lower cost, and specific use cases like DeFi or NFTs. Again, we see the same diagram here, where the line representing the blockchain itself, on top of that interacting with data that is not, it ventures out, as I've said, more than Bitcoin does: decentralized applications, smart contracts, etc. Best use cases: modern blockchains like Solana, Polygon, and ICP offer significant advancements in speed, scalability, and specialized tools. Solana excels in DeFi, blockchain gaming, and crypto wallet tools while fostering strong communities around meme coins and NFTs. Polygon enhances Ethereum scalability with its proof of stake protocol and ZK proof tools for faster Ethereum virtual machine smart contracts. ICP takes scalability further by enabling smart contracts to launch on multiple nodes, while its native integration with the Bitcoin and Ethereum networks expand its interoperability. These modern platforms provide powerful alternatives to Ethereum, particularly for large-scale decentralized applications, by addressing storage and speed challenges for more complex projects. Here the pros are going to be faster transaction speeds, lower costs, optimized for specific applications like defined NFTs, being non-fungible tokens. Which I find it ironic, NFTs were so big back during the 2020 to 2021 bull market. They had this, people were making so much money off of them, and then after that bull market, leading into the bear market that we've experienced most recently, it's like they just completely, fell off the face of the map. And I'm interested to see. I think obviously in the future they will, which I'll speak on this with some sort of relevance to XYO and something I get to here shortly, but just to see how they come back. I think they will inevitably, but I think it'll obviously be more codified, more, complex, and there'll be more to the whole NFT space rather than this first time around kind of just making money off these random like figureheads, or not necessarily figureheads, but like these, headshot profiles of these like cartoon looking like characters. But the trade-offs would be trading off in decentralization and sovereignty, and these often rely on single chain models. So now here we get to XYO Layer 1. Right off the bat, you can see here that this diagram is vastly more complex, and there's a lot more to it than for anything gone over thus far. It says XYO Layer 1 combines the best features of its predecessors and opens blockchain technology to new industries, including high data reliant projects with complete sovereignty, shared ledger capabilities, rollups, and unmatched scalability. XYO Layer 1 provides blockchain solutions for those who previously couldn't use it effectively. Its focus on decentralized physical infrastructure networks and innovations like proof of location ensures reliability for industries where data accuracy is critical. Now, again, so just the diagram, the arrow representing XYO Layer 1. On top of that, there's going to be a number of things, a part of the actual foundation itself, which then allows for XYO themselves or third parties or projects, people, whatever else, to build on top of XYO. And now here we can see number 1, completely sovereign proof of origin chain. Number 2, roll-up proof of origin chain. 3, forked proof of origin chain. 4, returning proof of origin chain. 5, rebounding proof of origin chain. And all these, obviously, each of these are going to be data nodes. Obviously, they're going to be part and parcel and interactive with the XYO Layer 1 itself. Now, down here, thankfully, they have some explanation as to just what these different numbers, their titles mean. Here we can see for number 1, 100% sovereign. An independent chain with full control over its data and processes, perfect for industries like AI and DePIN that require maximum autonomy. Number 2, roll-up. A chain that rolls up its data to XYO Layer 1 for efficiency and scalability, ideal for optimizing large-scale AI workloads. Number 3, forked. A chain branching off XYO Layer 1 with its own data and rules, offering flexibility for specialized DePIN use cases. Number 4, returning. A chain that returns to XYO Layer 1 to integrate its data, ensuring seamless compatibility for decentralized systems like IoT and DePIN, or IoT would be the Internet of Things, a lot of the times dealing with hardware devices interacting with blockchain solutions, everything else relative to so. Number 5, rebounding. A chain alternating between independence and XYO Layer 1 integration, providing adaptability for evolving AI and DePIN demands. Best use cases. XYO caters to industries that rely heavily on big data, such as AI, healthcare, finance, and logistics, as well as large-scale physical infrastructure networks like telecommunications, energy, and transportation. Its compatibility with decentralized physical infrastructure networks makes it a perfect match for use cases requiring robust and trusted data. With technologies like proof of location ensuring data accuracy, XYO stands apart by offering sovereign blockchain solutions for Web 2 companies seeking the benefits of blockchain technology without fully public chains, a rare and highly valuable feature in the current blockchain ecosystem. While XYO serves the same communities and purposes as modern blockchains, it also goes further, addressing the needs of projects requiring more privacy, data-heavy operations, or physical infrastructure integration. Its unique ability to support both Web 2 and Web 3 at scale makes it an unparalleled choice for organizations with demanding technical and operational requirements. Here we can see the pros and the trade-offs. Maintains data sovereignty with shared ledger capabilities, highly scalable for high data reliant industries like AI and DePIN, supports rollups for efficiency and cost savings. Trade-offs, still requires technical expertise for integration, and also still being complex, or the complexity of managing multiple proof of origin chains. Now, again, just generally, obviously this is going to be becoming a fully alleged blockchain, going to then now become a competitor for, or against rather, to the already well-known blockchains such as Ethereum, Solana, ICP, Polygon, as was mentioned, where here the claim is, and I think it's a very backed claim as well, to where XYO will be able to balance the weights between scalability, obviously with and association with the gas fees for Ethereum, for example. Obviously, the gas fees for Ethereum get so bad at certain times throughout the cycles of bull runs and bull markets. And then also when it comes to the whole interoperability idea, being able to unify the various blockchains working along with, obviously such other blockchain solutions, Solana and others, which will then be supported going on into the future. But if we move here into some tweets I want to talk about, and talk about a few other things relative to XYO, specifically real world assets. Here we have a tweet by the official XYO account mentioning how there was a new advisor here, Poseidon Ho, a very credible guy, started the Outliers Venture Fund. He's also had education at MIT, he's worked with Microsoft to some degree. Credible guy. Partner with him, as the blog talks about, just for his ability to consistently deliver success and deliver on various other matters. But he quoted their tweet and said that XYO is a strong blockchain company with real-world adoption of 7-digit registered users, 6-digit monthly active users, 5-digit active users, and one of the very few portfolios backed by Outliers Fund 1, 2, 3 times in a row, saying he's looking forward to more deeper synergies with RWAs, Marcus Levin, and the whole XYO team. You look here, something that he said going back towards the inauguration, basically was just mentioning, because he was there at the he said he attended all 6 of the official presidential inauguration events. Essentially what he was saying is that one of the people he met there was Gianni Infantino, president of FIFA World Cup. Being the most relevant with XYO, he said that they were discussing potential partnership between XYO and FIFA, and then ended it off with saying that he wished he had good news to share, but it's still at the early discussion phase of what would be a long-term potential partnership. Here we see a picture with him. Somebody down here commented and mentioned that FIFA and Upland to me are partners, XYO and Upland me are partners, so why not FIFA and XYO too? Now here we also see Real World Assets Incorporated being the world's first ecosystem utilizing the latest Web3 technology to launch fractional assets on the blockchain, announcing a strategic partnership with XYO. When it comes to real world assets, this is going to be referring to tangible assets that exist outside of the digitized, the blockchain realm, the technological space. And these can range, the real world assets, from bonds, real estate properties, commodities, machinery, and many things. I mean, really anything, not just assets as well. I mean, any sort of real world physical object, which, ventures off into the whole context of, IoT technology. But in general, the concept of RWAs in the blockchain context is about digital tokens representing not only just traditional financial assets, but also physical real world objects. So, like, for example, this is something what I was hinting at earlier about the whole NFTs, and as that space and what it can do and how it can be a crucial part of the blockchain development going over the next few decades. Like, for example, let's say you have somebody who owns a painting. Let's just say they own the Mona Lisa, and they bought it for, just throwing out a number, $1 million. Obviously, that painting would be far more than $1 million, but they bought it for $1 million, and 5 years later they have a bunch of offers. 5 million, 4 million. Obviously they can make a lot of money in their purchase, and so when it comes to real world assets, this is obviously a real world art piece, or like a real world trading card. Obviously, I mean, this could apply to anything when it comes to like tradables and collectibles, even like action figurines, which aren't necessarily as popular as they used to be a number of decades ago. But anything such as, obviously, this painting is what I'm focusing on, where somebody buys this painting and then they mint it through a blockchain, well, whatever the blockchain that might be on. I'm sure XYO will be able to support this. Solana already does, Ethereum, so on and so forth. But for example, if you have the Mona Lisa, you can mint an NFT version of the Mona Lisa on the blockchain. It will confirm the fact that you own it. It will have a whole other set of data and information associated with it as well. And when it comes to the point where if you want to sell the Mona Lisa and somebody's offering you $5 million, and at this point you can make a $4 million profit, instead of, let's say, meeting up with this person or like mailing the painting off to them and then paying you in cash, instead what you're going to do is you're going to enter into a crypto based blockchain solution based financial transaction, and let's just say that you have it on the Ethereum blockchain, so they're going to pay you however much Ethereum for the $5 million or whatever value is being it may be for what's being sold. And what's going to happen is it's going to exchange the ownership and the other data associated with such of the NFT and its minting on the blockchain to the person that's buying it. And then obviously at that point, it's just a matter of getting the actual real world asset, in this case, a real world art piece, to the actual person. So again, I mean, that can apply to, like I said, trading cards, which leads me into one other, which I believe, I'm not sure if even, oh, actually, yeah, I was just talking about it, that's why I got confused. Yeah, the whole FIFA thing. And obviously, like, if you think about the FIFA video games, and you can open up the packs of the cards in the video games, and obviously the gaming sector is going to be a part of XYO's Layer 1 as well. I mean, I'm sure this will be massive if this ends up coming to fruition, but even the whole, and I'm not sure, because I mean, I haven't really, and even when I dabbled with trading cards when I was younger, I didn't really get into, like, I don't know, I'm assuming there's soccer trading cards, but I'm not sure if there's like FIFA, like trademarked or copyrighted or whatever trading cards. So I mean, if that does exist, then I'm sure, obviously, if this comes to fruition, this will be falling along the same context that I was explaining when it comes to the real world art piece, other trading cards. Like, you think about Pokemon cards, or like especially like Yu-Gi-Oh cards, but mainly like Pokemon cards. Obviously so many of them, such as like certain Charizard cards and other ones, being so unbelievably expensive, and how in general, just entering into an age where you can trust more so kind of like the immutability of like the ownership of the card, and now there, like I've said, other data associated with it as well. But that wraps up the fundamental information, going over the new XYO Layer 1. So here for the technical analysis, starting off on the 15-minute chart. I posted about the 15-minute chart on X a number of hours ago. So far, we zoom out here a little bit. XYO at this point is up about, just to round it up, basically 100%, more so around 95% at this point, from the recent local low around 0.134, moving all the way up to around 0.226. And there was, as you can see, there was this descending resistance for a while. Obviously, we could see the, as I mentioned in a post, that it would be important, as it has done so far, for XYO to find support along generally 0.19, which is right here at the bottom of this blue box, but also the 50 EMA band right here, where you can see each of these supports. And then this resistance recently been broken. You can see XYO came back down and tested it along right at the middle, 50 EMA itself. Bounce so far. Now there are some people pointing this out to potentially be like a pennant triangle or some sort of triangle. I don't particularly see that. If anything, I see more of a descending triangle pattern, which typically is bearish, but it's not always bearish. It can break towards the upside, but if it does break towards the upside, it's traditionally labeled as a a reversal pattern. And at this point, this wouldn't particularly be a reversal pattern, because this is already after it pumped up. But I mean, regardless of the specificities, if anything pattern is to be put here, then this is more so what I see. But I mean, let's just entertain, just to have some fun. Maybe there's some sort of type of triangle here like this. Either way, whether or not if it's a bullish descending triangle, some sort of pennant triangle, or just, triangle in general, then the price target would be roughly the same either way. So taking descending triangle pattern here would be, I believe, taking it up somewhere close, maybe somewhere a little bit above, right up to around 2.7, so, or 0.27 rather. So almost 3 cents, not too much higher than it's already gone, just a little bit higher. But generally that could be shaping up or setting a precedent for the further breakout above, 0.26, obviously going to 3 cents and higher, and then ultimately going past the 4.5 cents, the local high that it set back in December of last year. Now that I'm seeing it here right now, well, I guess if I go down to the 10-minute, it doesn't really look like that so much. But if I go back to the 15-minute, this looks perhaps, this looks more kind of like maybe a potential triangle rather than anything. Maybe we'll see something along these lines, and it'll continue to go higher here. Assuming that the level of 0.19 doesn't break. I mean, as I mentioned, that's very important. I mean, the 200 EMA is basically at 0.19 at this point. 800 EMA sits at around 0.17. As I mentioned, 0.19, if that doesn't hold, then I mean, we could potentially see maybe something like this, maybe very briefly sit in this range and then continue to go higher. And if it can't hold somewhere around like 0.16, 0.17, then I would have to assume, I mean, maybe, I mean, just because anything's possible, maybe we'll see a quick move, something like that, and it'll go down. I mean, that's still holding 0.16 at that point. So, I mean, we could totally see something like this. But, I mean, 0.16 at its lowest is basically, basically right around here in this area. Right at the bottom of this lowermost vector zone of this recent move. And when it comes to this vector zone, so far, more than 50% of it's been recovered, so that criteria has been met. It doesn't necessarily need to come down any lower when it comes to this most recent move towards the upside here. Moving into the 2-day chart here, we look at this here as a descending, or falling, not descending, a falling wedge. Then the price target for this would be, I think, actually, it might be already where it is currently with the breakout. Actually, yeah, it also points towards that 0.27, 0.28 range, similar to that potential triangle or descending triangle that I was mentioning on the 15-minute chart. Generally, approximately 3 cents, or what are all these are pointing to if you were to round them up. Which, again, like I said, could be shaping up and setting a precedent for it to continue to go higher, even past the 4.5 cents. But what I mainly want to point out on this chart here is if you look down here at this indicator on the bottom, being the ergodic stochastic momentum index, few things I want to point out here is the fact that if you look here at the histogram, it was descending, and at the same time frame here, well, I mean, basically to go back even a little bit further, actually, we could do it like this. So you see the histogram is just descending, whereas the price of XYO is kind of going up in a parabolic curve type of way, which is comparable to what happened back here. Again, for those of you who have already seen my last 2 videos on this, just to quickly go over it again. So if we go back to September, October 2023 right here, moves up into November, it's kind of like a build-up phase, and then XYO skyrockets here, it goes full-on vertical basically. Then corrects here down to January, February 2024, then moves back up to around 1.5 pennies in March of 2024, then corrects all the way down here. We're seeing September, October 2024, a year later, setting a local low, then moves into November, kind of enters another build-up phase period, just like it did in 2023, then has another skyrocket period, vertical upside here towards the 4.5 cents that it reached recently. So not only, again, temporal pattern, temporal trend, very clear at this point. Also, I mean, we've from the December, which is back here, December 2023 was in this local I was met, just 4.5 cents here recently. Now corrected into January, February. We're seeing so far the move, as I pointed out, we're almost basically down to the very day that it's been playing out like it did just back in 2024. But on top of the temporal trend again, so as I was pointing out, you see these descending histograms here. It's doing it in both of these cases. where, as I had here, you see these kind of parabolic moves toward the upside. You're seeing this hidden bullish divergence. Also, the lines themselves of the indicator here are also doing the same thing, where you see them descending like the histogram. So again, seeing multiple forms of hidden bullish divergence here. And the white line here you can see is moving. Actually, I think it's literally right on top of the median here. So as that starts to cross above that and then gets the bullish cross above here, this black line, last time it did happen was right here back in mid-November 2024, just before this move up to 4.5 cents. And again, comparable to it last time back in February, it crossed within the first 2 weeks, more so towards like the 14th of February 2024. At this point, it seems to be that XYO might be a little ahead of schedule, although if it's going to kind of bounce back into the more of a precise time frame as it did in 2023, we might see, as it's breaking out here, maybe it'll come back down and correct towards, I mean, if it goes down this low, it's still, I mean, this will be going down towards just a tad bit below 0.17. Let's say it retests this descending resistance here, and then it bounces up, and then by the time it's starting to bounce up, this is going to be mid-February, falling more in suit, temporally speaking, as it did the last time around during the temporal trend, again, back here during January, February 2024. Also, again, on this 2-day chart, you can see there's this ascending, I pointed this out on the daily. Again, this is a higher time frame. I just wanted to point it out again. There's this ascending support zone here going all the way back to August, September of 2024 that seems to be being held right now. Also, if you look here back at January, February 2024, you can see that it found support right in between the 382 and the 457, just as it is done here again recently. Again, there's just so many confluences that just leads me to the conclusion that it's hard to believe in actuality that this temporal trend isn't being validated as I speak and as I've been talking about in the last 2 videos across like the last week or so. We look here at this 4-day chart. Also, you'll see on this 4-day chart where the January-February correction of 2024 culminated at the 457, just as, again, just a year later in 2025, we're seeing it culminate at the 457 here currently as well and bouncing towards the upside. If we look down here at the stochastic RSI, see something very similar as well, where you see, again, this entire portion here being really what started. This is the first leg of the bull market for XYO. This right here is going to be the second leg. Again, as I've been saying, anywhere as a range from around the prior all-time high at around 8 cents all the way up to approximately 17 cents. Might see some wicks up to as high as like 20 to 23 cents, which I'll get to that here in a moment. But very similar, again, as you're seeing, you see here on the stochastic RSI, here with the price, then the price corrects, the stochastic RSI corrects down to here, then moves back up. Seeing something very similar here as well, correcting on the stochastic RSI as the price is doing the same thing, same times of the year, just a year later. So will we see something very similar? Again, at this point, I believe it's quite likely. I mean, at this point, I would give it over like an 80% odds. I mean, although I might end up being wrong, who knows? And also this pump, I mean, because this pump appears to be obviously coinciding with the news. I mean, this could just be a news-based pump, and maybe XYO is going to continue going back down. Although I doubt that. I also find it odd that XYO just, obviously with this big announcement that has come out, it was delayed multiple times. So many people got just completely, just absurdly unhinged about it, having just temper tantrums. There are also a number of people that were rationally and logically inquiring to why it was just being delayed, why the CEO himself, so on and so forth. People were just saying like it's going to happen before the end of 2024. It didn't happen. Then it just kept getting delayed. People were getting mad. People were leaving the project. People were being accusatory and harassing and just downright rude on X, for example, to the official XYO page and the team. So I wonder if the people at XYO themselves are aware of this trend, this temporal trend, and they see it and they also think that there's something to it. uh, which I kind of would doubt that to some degree. But I've just nonetheless, what I'm getting at is that I find it interesting that they just so happened, whether engineered or just a coincidence, happened to release this announcement right as the temporal trend is locally bottoming out. That has been the temporal trend is a year and a half plus in the making. They happen to just drop it January, February of 2025, right when the temporal trend is saying that it should see a next swing towards the upside that could potentially be another 1000% move. I just find that to be interesting to think about. We also see the MACD here coiling up as well, uh, likely leading into a bullish crossover, assuming everything trading wise goes well here for XYO. Now I mentioned this in the last video, so briefly I mentioned how the similarity between this U kind of here that the RVI printed in comparison to this portion of the price for XYO, and then it's compared it to recently how it just looks similar, how we'll kind of see again the second leg of the current move we're on for XYO again. I mean, you see first move XYO begins bull market. Now we're seeing the second move here. This to a larger degree, a larger scale. We look here at the weekly chart, putting everything into perspective. Again, so far, again, we're seeing the bounce on the 618 of the all-time historical inside pitchfork or the inside pitchfork channel using Fibonacci levels. If I zoom in here, I believe they're not crossed just yet. They're very close. Whenever we see this purple moving average here get above the black moving average, that's going to be quite a good thing to see. As you can see, the green's already gotten above the white. Going all the way back to really back here when this prior bull market started, you see the green got above the white, and then afterwards you saw the purple get above the black. One of the instances or aspects that I pointed out recently that show that the current bull market looks a lot and is mimicking to quite a very close degree the structure of the prior bull market. Again, as I've really been stressing, this macro W pattern that we've seen both of these times throughout each of these bull markets, with the fact that so yeah, this is the weekly chart. I just want to point this out again. I pointed it out a few times, but I find this to be absolutely fascinating. The fact that look here, this double bottom and the slope it's set, and then you take it same exact line. The double bottom literally formed the exact same slope. It's just kind of almost miraculous if you ask me. But I think it's more so just a testament to the self-similarity and the mimicry of past history when it comes to assets, especially in the cryptocurrency market. Before I get to just kind of generally going back over and glossing over the price targets again, speaking of same slopes, if we look here, obviously this is going to be here the RSI showing the RSI of each of these moves that I've been pointing out during these prior charts. And so I was looking here, obviously there's an uptrend here on the weekly of the RSI as well. Now we're getting a bounce above, just slightly above the trend line, respecting it. And so I was like, I wonder if I just clone this line and then I put it over here to the prior iteration of these bullish moves that XYO was getting. I wonder if the slope's basically going to, it'll be the same and it'll line up. Very similar to the macro W that I just pointed out. But lo and behold, obviously you can see that it, yeah, I mean, this trend line really kind of characterized the upside movement of this RSI. You can see back here during January, February 2024, it didn't quite touch the trend line and then it bounced. And that could be very well could be what we are doing right now, what XYO is doing right now. Again, just a year later, January, February 2025, finding a bounce just a tad bit above the trend line itself. And also you can see here with the stock RSI, you're seeing you saw it move up, went down, and we could be seeing something very similar here where it'll stay in this upper region right here, which is going to be needed for bullish movement. And recently, over the next few days, number of weeks leading into February, we'll see the stock RSI here coil back upwards and then likely correct by some degree again mimicking the stock RSI back here during the prior move. That's as I've already demonstrated quite clearly, very self-similar. to the current moves for XYO. Also, as I mentioned, this RVI uptrend so far is being respected as well. If we actually look here, I didn't think about doing this, but if I copy this trend line, you can see that it's not as good, but I mean it's roughly there. Then you can see there's the RVO slowly moving upwards here until it finally exploded. There's obviously this deviation and this deviation as well, but still, relatively it's quite similar. But if we look and we compare again, we'll see how back during the prior move for XYO, we had December leading down into January, February, then it spiked up. We're seeing a very similar move here leading into January, February. It's spiking up. Now it really just needs to cross the median here of the Bollinger Bands, this green line, just as it did back in the first 2 weeks of February of 2024 to really further validate the upside movement here. When it comes to the volume for XYO, I'm not sure if I have it here on this chart. I'll just add it real quick. You'll look here at the volume. Wait, that's right. This chart doesn't have volume. All right. Anyways, doesn't matter. If looking at the daily, I didn't look at the weekly, which actually I'm just going to go ahead and do it. But the daily, the volume hadn't spiked that much. Yeah, if you look here at the weekly, you can see down here at the bottom that it's not spiked that much. You could say that it's perhaps encroaching upon the levels back here in mid to late November, but just before the move up to 4.5 cents. So that's something to be looking out for to really see the volume ramp up here a little bit more. If you look here at the daily again, you can see that it got quite close back to around the 19th of November as XYO was leading up into this triangle, the symmetrical triangle that was right here, and during November leading into the move up to 4.5 cents in December. So this is going to be something to watch out for. See the volume really start to pick up more than it already has. Again, it's already seen quite some nice spikes, but it needs to pick up a little bit more over the next few days and few weeks. And also looking here at this daily, currently the daily candle with about 15 hours left is above the 50 EMA band. Getting a close up of this will be great. And then again, like I said, it's totally in potential to see like on a daily or higher time frame, see a correction down down here to somewhere obviously in this vector zone, which is anywhere from around 0.16 up to 0.18. So we could definitely end up seeing that for XYO over the next few days and over the next few weeks leading into February. Because if we go back, we can see here that last time XYO bottomed out here back in January, February, it bottomed out around the 25th to the 27th. Today is the 29th. And then it did have this massive spike right here, right at the end of January. And then it went back down again. Didn't make a new low, but it basically just traded sideways from around the 23rd of January to the really into the end of the first week of February, setting this double bottom before it really blew up. So we could see something similar to that again. So, I mean, basically what we could see here is, like I pointed out, a move maybe back down to like, I mean, if it goes all the way down like basically 0.16, yeah, I would, maybe do something like that and retest the descending resistance and kind of just flatten out with making a double bottom or just something along those lines right around where it's flattened out at here at around 0.16. Then again, lastly, just to gloss over these price targets again. So assuming everything plays out quite nicely and accurately, like I said, 8 cents up towards around 16, 17 cents. Again, according to the all-time history, last time XYO moved up towards around April of 2021, which this also happens to be, again, be temporally finding confluence with the March, April 2024. Now it's 2025, temporal trend March, April, meeting somewhere around here, the 325 to the 325, the 25 to the 382. Which could see some wicks up to around 20, 21, 22, 23 cents. And then lastly, again, 50 cents to $2.30 is the most reasonable price range that I am looking forward to. When it comes to technically speaking, that's the only thing in the charts that can be validated. As I've mentioned, higher, maybe somewhere around, 4 or 5, and then like maybe $7 to $14. And I've entertained at high as $36 because that would put the market capitalization somewhere around 500 trillion, not 500 trillion, well, 500 billion, which is not completely absurd to me. I think it's definitely feasible, especially with the new announcement and how important I think XYO will be over the coming years as more and more gets done with this blockchain solution. But I just wanted to end this off on with the fact that the 50-cent range to $2.30 range is not only more fundamentally feasible than 4, 5, especially 7, 14, and $36, $21, other price targets I mentioned in past videos. But on top of it being fundamentally most reasonable, when it comes to the technical analysis, this is the only price range that can be validated through various means and tools of technical analysis that I've gone over in this video and other videos. And so when it comes to the $4, $5, $7 to $14, 21, 28, 30 up to $36, that I can't hardly, unless I were to just to pull random Fibonacci retracements and just, the 4.618 sits at $36. That's just, it doesn't really mean anything. And so really those higher price targets are really only made feasible, and at this point made more feasible than due to this XYO Layer 1 announcement. But as I said, that was all that I wanted to go over and talk about in this video. So as always, none of this is meant to be financial advice, but all that being said and everything gone over, I hope you all enjoyed, and I hope you all have a wonderful day.
Ooh, I'm regretting now.